Hi everyone, my name is Qiurong. I'm here to present our work, How Predatory Monetization Designs Manifest in Child-Friendly Video Games. First, I'd like to provide an overview of the study site Roblox. Roblox is a very popular game platform that allows its users to make, publish, and monetize their games. Here are some basic statistics about how popular Roblox is across the world, particularly among young audiences, with 56% of users under 16-year-old, among them 21% under 9 and 21% aged 9 to 12. Roblox ranks as a top entertainment platform for children. Meanwhile, Roblox is also raising great concerns about the financial security and digital autonomy of its young users. Numerous reports have surfaced of children spending thousands of dollars on the platform without their parents' even knowledge. And the previous research has noticed the issue of predatory monetization designs in video games, reporting prominent categories of predatory monetization designs such as loot boxes, which refer to the in-game items that contains randomized rewards. Research has also explored the user experience of predatory monetization designs. However, there remains a lack of understanding of how these games, how game developers perceive and implement this kind of predatory monetization in child-friendly video games like Roblox. So to address this gap, we proposed two research questions. The first one is how do Roblox developers perceive predatory monetization practices? And second, how are the predatory monetization designs manifested within the Roblox games? To answer RQ1, we conducted semi-structured interviews with 20 Roblox developers and used the thematic analysis to analyze the data. And to answer the RQ2, we conducted a walkthrough of 30 systematically selected Roblox games. So these 30 games are all labeled as suitable for all ages, which means even a 7-year-old can play them. And during the walkthrough, we pay attention to the in-game elements and interaction in these predatory monetization designs. And we conducted a bottom-up analysis of the walkthrough data. So before diving into our findings, I want to provide an example that illustrates the predatory monetizations on Roblox. Here is a striking one. And you can see an avatar is working through a virtual casino sort of thing, and it's filled with slot machines. This player can interact with all these machines just as they could in real life to win prizes. And they're encouraged to purchase luck-enhancing game passes using real money to increase their chances of winning. And you can also see here, in the game chat, other players can be seen actively engaging with the experience, say things like, yes, yes, come on, big money, come on, mirroring the language and excitement of real-world gambling involvement. So examples like this can be quite shocking, right? So how do the developers perceive this kind of monetization practice on Roblox? And we found that Roblox developers are aware of and sometimes even actively deploy predatory monetization designs, with some even explicitly targeting children to maximize their profits. For example, a participant noted that developers are tempting kids into spending Robux, the virtual currency, without considering the real-world value by filling the game with numerous purchasable items and features. Furthermore, one participant highlighted how exploitative monetization tactics, particularly those resemble gambling, have become so normalized on Roblox that they are now seen as standard practice. And these systems are especially concerning when developers are targeting children, capitalizing on their vulnerability and limited understanding of financial risks. Since the developers can be quite aware of the predatory monetization designs, how are the designs manifested within these games? We worked through the 30 games that are labeled as all ages, suitable for everyone, and identified for primary themes. So the first one is about how they're exploiting the cognitive biases through UI design. In this example, when a player runs out of time to complete a task, the game gives them an option to keep going if they spend some money. And the continue button is bright green and very eye-catching, and with the no thanks button is dark gray. This kind of setup creates a false sense of urgency and make it feel like the continue is obvious and better choice, even if it costs money. It's a subtle way of steering players, and especially concerning if they're kids, towards spending without really thinking it through. And the cognitive workload overload is another primary theme. It happens when there are too much going on, too much information, too many options, and it becomes very hard to make clear decisions. On Roblox, it often shows up through layered membership and confusing currency system. So here you can say the player, they might already have a Roblox premium, which is kind of like the Roblox VIP, but they might still need to spend money to purchase in-game VIP that is for a specific game. And the use of different currency, like the gems and also coins and also the VIP tiers, it can be really hard for the players to know how much anything actually costs. This kind of design overloads players, especially the younger ones, and make it much easier for them to just spending without really understanding what they're buying. And this one, so this video on the left shows a spinning wheel in Roblox. And to use it, the players must pay for a chance to spin. And the odds of actually winning each reward are not immediately clear. Some prizes are significantly more valuable than others, and the probability of receiving each item is hidden behind multiple layers. In this video, you have to click on the really small question mark and then click on the reward, and then finally get to the part you can see the actual chances. For younger players especially, this setup make it easy to spend without really knowing what they're getting into, and encourage risk-taking without providing clear information, similar to how gambling works. And it raises concerns about fairness and autonomy for kids on this platform. And the next example is embedding psychological tactics to nudge purchases. So here is an example from the walkthrough data. You can see the players, they're seeing a page called starter package, and they have two different options. And if you click on the maybe later, it will pop up another screen. So here's a screenshot of these two screens. You can see on the left, it's the first page you will be seeing. You can see a red countdown timer prominently displaying on the screen, and it's kind of pressuring you to act quickly, it's a time limit offer. And you can also see it's combined with flashy visual and steep discount, pressure them to act quickly, often before they have a chance to fully understand the consequences. And it's a classic example of psychological tactics called fear of missing out. This anxiety or regret a person feels when they believe they might miss a valuable opportunity. And if a person clicks maybe later, they are immediately met with the second screen, the one on the right. So you can say it's using some really kind of emotional language, phrases like "don't miss out" appear in bold on a red banner, and the rejection option is labeled as "miss out forever," intensify the sense of consequence. And the message is unlikely I will get a deal this good for you again, laps into another well-known psychological bias, the loss aversion, our tendency to feel the pain of losing something more strongly than the pleasure of getting something of equal value. So when used together, fear of missing out and the loss aversion, they become especially powerful tools, particularly when targeted at children. Young players are developmentally more susceptible to emotional triggers and impulsive decision makings. And when they're still developing self-regulation and a strong desire for social inclusion, children can be more easily nudged into spending. This raised a very serious ethical concerns about the financial security and digital autonomy of the users. So our study reveals that the predatory monetization is not accidental. It is deliberately embedded into the game design in a subtle yet very powerful way. And these tactics are often layered and work together. So you can, for instance, the example listed before, they're very well-crafted UI elements, and they're also exploiting some well-documented cognitive biases like fear of missing out, loss aversion, to drive repeated purchases. And what is especially concerning is how effective these designs are on children due to their developmental vulnerabilities, like limited impulse control and lower financial literacy. Young players are particularly susceptible. This raises serious concerns around their financial security and online safety. Given these risks, there is a pressing need for ethical game designs. User-generated game platforms like Roblox must take greater responsibilities by regulating the monetization designs on the platform and incentivizing ethical and child-safe monetization among its developers, since the developers are the one actually makes the game and publish the game on the platform. But regulation alone isn't enough. We also need to equip the young players with the knowledge and the digital literacy skills to recognize and push back against manipulative design and build resilience. In the end, I want to thank my collaborators and the anonymous reviewers for their valuable feedback, and thank you for listening. I'm happy to take any questions.